Fam, what's up? Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. We made it to the college football season. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I really appreciate you guys' support. So I need you guys to hit the thumbs up button on this video. You can also hit the join button to become a member of our YouTube channel. Now, earlier today, couldn't believe it, but Jeff Banks, who used to coach here at the University of Alabama, had this to say, and it broke social media. Texas special coordinator Jeff Banks was asked what to tell his team about playing Alabama, where he previously coached. We're just going to play another road game, just as hard as Kansas and Iowa State, and it's going to be in Tuscaloosa. It's just bigger, and there's more people. No, that is wrong, Coach Banks. Coach Banks was here. He knows the difference between 100,000 people and whatever they have in Kansas and Iowa State, right? I get it. Sometimes Iowa State can be tricky to play at, but it's not like playing in Tuscaloosa in the evening. So this is wrong. This is more rat poison for that game of week 2. Right. OK, so Alabama, of course, is not playing Texas to start off the season. They're playing Middle Tennessee. I want to take your calls tonight regarding the Alabama offense, but I had to bring this up. 205-850-1994. What's going on? Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Can you feel me? I'm coming to you from this beautiful town where I think there needs to be another national title. Right. I saw it today on Alabama's social media feed, where they have Nick Saban talking about the offer letters that are coming back, and they keep referencing the last time that Alabama won a national title. Man, it's been 2 seasons. So we can't pretend that everything is perfect here at the University of Alabama, because it's not. Otherwise, they'd have other trophies. Now, the trophy resides in Georgia. Now, Alabama's job is to go back and get that trophy. So I want to hear from you tonight. 205-850-1994 is the call line. I'll take a call. Last night, how about our boys, man? They did a fantastic job. Shout out to Jarek and Sean from Huntsville for doing a fantastic job talking about the Alabama defense, and there's a lot to go over. But when we look to the Alabama offense, and if you're just joining us, let us know where you're coming from. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Again, I'll read this out one more time. In case you missed it, Texas special teams coordinator Jeff Banks was asked what he'll tell his team about playing Alabama in week 2, where he previously coached. What's up, I appreciate you guys checking in. We're just going to play another road game, just as hard as Kansas and Iowa State, and it's going to be in Tuscaloosa. It's just bigger than more people know. That's just so wrong. Like, there's just a difference. Like, that game is at 6 p.m. The nation is going to be watching that. You know, all of these national entities are built off Alabama football. I think that ESPN, sites like Rivals and On3, they operate because of Alabama football. When Alabama football does well, those sites do well, this channel included. So everybody needs for Alabama to do well. Today on the show, I want to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about ESPN predicting that Tyler Buchner is going to start at Alabama. I think that was released a couple days ago. We're sleeping on Jace. We really are, the running back position. We're going to talk about the wide receiver room. And again, I want to take your calls. Call in line at the bottom of the show, 205-850-1994. We got a call, and we'll take it in just a minute. We got the offensive line. We'll look at the offensive line, and then we'll talk about Auburn recruiting and what's going on at Auburn, because they're certainly stealing guys from Georgia and Alabama, and Hugh Freeze, and it's something that is happening. So I wanted to kind of dive into that towards the end of the show. But let me get to Tyler Buchner right now. Okay, so ESPN a couple days ago said that he's going to start. Look, nobody knows who is going to start at quarterback. Nobody. Coach Saban literally just said that at SEC Media Days. I thought it'd be Jalen Milroe. People think it's going to be Ty Simpson. I think like Greg McElroy is saying it's going to be Ty Simpson. And now ESPN is saying that it's going to be Tyler Buchner. Nobody knows. Nobody. The point is, we don't know. Saban just literally told us in the cake reference, right? He said, when the cake is ready, we will know. Basically, when it's ready to go, we'll know who the starter is. The guys haven't even practiced. The first practice is Thursday. So, and guess who gets to see the practices? Nobody, right? There's like a glorified day on Saturday where you can kind of see some of the practices, but nobody can see the practices. So, when you're talking about like the media heads seeing practices, they don't. Nobody does. They close that stuff during COVID, I promise you. So ESPN saying that Tyler Buchner is going to start. We have no idea who the starting quarterback is going to be for the University of Alabama. Leave that to Saban. Saban's going to figure it out as we move forward, and I think they're going to be fine just against Middle Tennessee State. What's up, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube? I need you to hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys being with me during the start of the 2023 season. We're going to get to our call in just a minute. 205-850-1994 is the call line. I appreciate you guys joining in. Let me know where you guys are watching from inside the comment box. Also, I want to get your biggest questions for this offense going into the 2023 season. Put those down below inside the comment box. Mike, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Mike's saying it's Jalen Milroe. Come on, guys. If he has to be more consistent and took care of the ball, it's Milroe. Every single time we talk about Jalen Milroe, people are like, he's a turnover machine. They reference the turnovers that he had last year. Last year doesn't dictate this year, right? The past doesn't dictate the future. So I think we have to give these guys an opportunity to see how it shakes out during, the first couple of days of practice going into that first scrimmage. Quick note. So practice will be on Thursday. You will get a media interview on Wednesday from Coach Saban. Tomorrow, we basically just go to the Bryant-Denny Stadium, ask Saban like 4 questions. It's probably going to be like a 4-minute video. We'll upload it here on the YouTube channel. And then on Thursday, Alabama has their first official practice. I know that ESPN said it's going to be Wednesday. It's not. They report on Wednesday, and then practices on Thursday. That's going to be their first practice. And then following Thursday, you're going to get Nick Saban. That's when he's going to be at the actual podium. And then Thursday night, you'll get some B-roll footage, like 5 minutes of footage or whatever they're going to send us. And then we'll come back and digest what Saban said and what we saw from practice. Are they going to show us anything from the quarterbacks? Probably. It's going to be 3 quarterbacks throwing in black jerseys. So, we'll get a look to see kind of how they look in terms of the mechanics, but you're not going to see who the starter is by any means. What's up, fam? I appreciate you guys joining me, and we'll go to our first call. Will you guys do me a favor inside the comment box? When we take the call, give me a thumbs up on the audio if you guys can hear the call coming in, if there's any echoes or anything like that, so I can fix it so we can have a good show. We'll take our first call. It's a 601, and we'll start right now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
How's it going, Kyle? It's Jay from Pensacola, man. It's been a while.
Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in. Let me check that if everybody can hear the you coming in. You guys hearing it okay? You guys hearing the echo? You guys hearing anything at all from our caller? What's up, Jay? How you been, man? What are your questions about the offense, man? Shoot.
My question about the offense, I would say I think the running game would be great this year. It just I feel like the O-line would be back to the old O-line. No, I feel like the running game would be awesome this year. My biggest question would be of course, the quarterback. I feel like every other part would be in line. I feel like everybody's going to play their part, and I feel like to me, in my opinion, the breakout stars on the course wide receiver, I feel like Malik Benson will eventually take over, in my opinion, and I feel like Justin Haynes will be a breakout star, in my opinion. But my biggest question is the quarterback. Like I feel people will come from with Jalen Milroe. I believe in Jalen Milroe. I feel like teams will be scared of Jalen Milroe. If Jalen Milroe can get his throwing accuracy correctly, teams will be scared to play Alabama because he's such a threat. All he needs is working his accuracy. But like I said before, I feel like Ty Simpson, I seen video footage of him working with his dad in Tennessee, working with other coaches or whatnot. I feel like he has the best opportunity. I seen Tyler Butner. I don't know, but it's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think when we look at the quarterback position and something that everybody wants to talk about, I think there's nothing wrong with just being patient and just letting this develop, right? I think we're so excited following the departure of Bryce Young. Like, we want an immediate answer to the quarterback. But to get to your point about Malik Benson, there he was right there, number 11. And here on the screen, you have Jalen Milroe, number 4, and Ty Simpson. This is B-roll from the springtime. We don't have any footage from Buckner just yet. Probably get it tomorrow. But the thing about Malik Benson is I think he's finally going to be that guy that we've been waiting for, right? Over the last, I think since the departure, Mechie and Jameson Williams, like it was a big drop off last year, and we've talked about that time and time again. So look for guys like Ja'Cory Brooks, who's a vet coming back, and I don't think we've talked enough about Ja'Cory Brooks, but him along with some of these super sophomores and then Malik Benson, I think are going to be guys who really turn heads. Is there anyone out of that sophomore group at the wide receiver position that you're really excited to check out this year?
I love Kobe Prentice.
Yeah.
I feel like I watched him in his freshman year during the A-Day, and his hands are amazing. Like his catching abilities are amazing. Like I feel like him. I feel like all three, the super sophomores. Like, I agree with you. I feel like all three, but my most impression it would be Kobe Prentice. I feel like he's going to be like the person that can catch everything, just like Devontae Smith. I don't want to compare him to Devontae Smith, but I feel like he got hands just like him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Devontae Smith, I mean, I've talked about this before. I mean, in my opinion, he's the best Alabama wide receiver that there was. I mean, just because the dude was like Velcro and he had that Mamba mentality. I mean, the guy was just a straight dog. He wanted the ball, and the things that he did was just like, you look back at it now and you're just like, my goodness. And we were watching greatness. We truly were. I think that Kobe Prentice and Isaiah Bond and Kendrick Law, I think all of those guys are very capable to get significant playing time this season. When you look to that wide receiver unit, Ja'Cory Brooks, Malik Benson are guys who, are going to be kind of that older group, along with Jermaine Burton. Give me your honest take on Jermaine Burton. I want to also hear from you guys inside the comment box. What do you guys want to see from Burton? Because it seems like Saban does like Burton, but at the end of the day, like the best players have to play. Do you have confidence in Burton going into the season?
I do. I feel like I want to believe in Jermaine Burton. But it just those drop passes. I feel the same way at him I do about Jalen White. If he's working his accuracy on catching, but I do. He played good in the bowl game.
He did.
In the bowl game, he showed out.
Yeah. I know. I was watching the bowl game the other day, and like I was like, man, like Burton. I mean, you're right. You're exactly right. He did well in the bowl game, but like overall, like last year, I thought it was just. It just wasn't the guy that I thought he was going to be at the wide receiver room. And I think, our expectations are so high because of all these first round draft picks, but it's just like, he just wasn't it last year. Maybe he has a breakthrough year. Is there anyone else in that group, those wide receivers? I think like a lot of people talk about Jalen Hale, maybe being one of those guys, or Emmanuel Henderson, one of these lesser known guys. Do you think there's any one of those guys that could step up to, maybe contribute this season?
I feel like Kendrick Law, because not a lot of people talk about Kendrick Law, but how he played in the A-Day game, I feel like he's a sleeper that people need to watch out for. I feel like Kendrick Law is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I think so too. I like his build. I like his speed. I like that group of sophomores. So depending on who the quarterback is, I mean, each of those guys is going to be super dependable. And, we can't forget to talk about, Ja'Cory Brooks. I mean, he's come through in the clutch, but like we don't talk about him enough. What was interesting?
I agree.
What was interesting is the fact that during the SEC media voting, right, for when we go to like who's going to be first team all SEC, I think it was only JC Latham that was on the first team. It was so shocking to see for the first time, like the lack of names on that first team all SEC ballot. And I get it. Alabama's one of the younger teams in terms of, the least experience coming back, but it still was kind of shocking just to see you only have JC Latham. And it feels like this year that Alabama, specifically on the offense, kind of laying in the weeds for the first time, probably since I've even been covering Alabama football. Do you feel that way as well?
I do. I just feel like it's just not people are not giving enough credit to the offense. I feel like they're going to shock a lot of people. Like I said, like people said before, I don't feel like Alabama needs a Bryce Young to win that championship. Like I don't feel like they need their star quarterback. I feel like they're going to do just fine whoever they choose, whoever it may be. I feel like the running game is the key points and outcomes this year. I feel like if our defense, I love defense, but I feel like our defense and our running game are going to be awesome. If we can get that quarterback, that deep ball quarterback, the deep threat, I feel like we'll be a balanced team.
Well, I appreciate you calling, man. Call again next time. You're always welcome to call in the show. You got to see the table with me, man. So I appreciate you calling, and we'll catch you on the next call-in show, man. Thank you so much for calling in.
Appreciate it. Have a good day. Roll Tide.
All right, roll tide to you, man. All right, my name is Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We appreciate you guys coming to us on the call-in show. 205-850-1994. Call-in number is at the bottom of your screen. Call-in line is open. We got 100 people watching. Let's get 100 thumbs up inside the comment box. Super chats certainly appreciated. And, you guys being subscribers of our YouTube channel means a lot to me. Tomorrow you'll get a media opportunity with Coach Saban. And then on Thursday, you'll get the first practice of the 2023 season. A lot to talk about when you look to the Alabama offense. I mentioned earlier that I feel that we're sleeping on Jace McClellan. I think when we look to Jace, the injury certainly impacted his overall performance and some of the ways that we look at Jace and look at that running back room. But when you have Jace and you have Roydell Williams, kind of the vets of that unit, those guys are very, very capable. And I get it. You guys want to see Justice Haynes perform, and maybe he is the best. I mean, Saban said, he was like, people in the room know who the best player is. And I'm all about playing the best player. I think you guys are too. Like, the best has to play. We're at that level. But I think that we are sleeping on Jace. And I think Jace is up for one of the awards, is the Maxwell Award or something like that. So in terms of when people are looking to the best Alabama offensive returner, I think people look into Jace because he does have that capability to be an impact player. I mean, look what he did against Texas last season when he was called on, right? He ripped off that big run against the Longhorns for a touchdown. And Michael brings up a great point. You can't forget about the young gun too, and Richard Young. So that running back room is so stacked, and there's so much depth there, and it's so exciting just to see those guys in action, right? So again, Michael, double points for you, man. Jace has to stay healthy, just like all of these guys, and there's nothing wrong with having competition in the running back room. I think when you look from the top to the bottom of that running back room, certainly loaded. And I can't wait to see these guys perform in the scrimmage and get reps with the 2s or the 3s, wherever they are. Richard Young, we're not sleeping on him at all. He was a summer arrival, and I can't imagine how hungry he is to perform on Thursday. He wants that notoriety because he feels that he's up there with these other running backs, which he probably is, which is crazy. And it's just amazing that Justice had such an incredible season on the offensive side coming in during that springtime. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. 205-850-1994 is the call-in number. And we'll take our next call, and we'll start right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is David from Louisiana.
Hey, what's up, David? I appreciate you calling in from enemy lines, man. How you doing these days?
Oh, just trying to stay cool. It's been hot over here. I'm sure it's been hot over there too.
Oh, you have no idea. It has been sweltering, but we expect it. I mean, it's Tuscaloosa. I mean, this morning I was out at 5 a.m. working out with the guys group. We were putting in the work, doing our job to, stay fit or whatever. And it's just the heat. I mean, that's just how it is. When we look to this Alabama offense, David, what are your question marks? Is there anything else you want to talk about besides the quarterback position? Or is that where your question lies going into Thursday?
Well, I got 2 questions. And one of them is, I know the Alabama fans probably don't want to hear this, but I'm a Bama fan, just like everybody else that's listening. I hope everybody that's listening is. Don't sleep on Tyler Buchner. He only played 3 games in the 2022 season due to injury. He don't have the greatest stat. Throughout his 3 games, he was 46 of 83. I knew he threw 5 interceptions, only 3 touchdowns. But against the SEC opponent, South Carolina, he was 18 for 33. He had 273 yards, 61 yards rushing, and 2 rushing touchdowns. His QBR is around a 60, 61, which is not great, but you got to also look at it like this. He does not have the elite wide receivers, tight ends, running backs in the backfield that can catch as well like Alabama does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not saying that he's going to win it, but he didn't come to Alabama just to sit on the bench. I think he's going to push Ty Simpson and Milroe and whoever else is trying to step up as a starting quarterback. But also, I want to see more of Jam Miller run the ball. Last year, every time he got the ball and took off a running with that ball and they pulled him out of the game, I'm like, what are y'all doing? What are you doing? This dude is physical. He's quick. He's shifty. The dude is just a monster, and we need that in the backfield. What do you think on Tyler Buckner's situation? I mean,
I think the thing about Buckner, and I appreciate the call. We're on the line with David out of Louisiana, a longtime caller. I appreciate you calling in. I think with Tyler Buckner, you're absolutely right. I think the thing that he brings, he's very similar to Ty Simpson, and I think that a lot of people who we were able to see Ty during the springtime saw his athleticism and just how fast he is. He's shifty. I think he broke a 45-yard run. And Tyler Buckner, the same thing. I mean, the guy can run. He's a very mobile quarterback that I think can give you fits on the defensive side. And he's played in some big games. I mean, he played against Ohio State, and then there was injured. And I think someone pointed out there was a COVID year. And look, think about this. I was talking about this with some other people. If you're in Tyler Buckner's group, like his family, whatever, and you're barbecuing, 1,000,000%, everybody thinks that he's going to be the starter, right? And why would he transfer to Alabama if he didn't think that he was going to beat out Jalen and Ty Simpson? He honestly does. He didn't come here to be a backup quarterback. Think about all the transfers that have come into Alabama over the last 3 seasons since we've been in transfer portal madness, right? How many of those guys have been day one starters? Most of them. Right? If we went through and put a list together, there's been a couple guys who just didn't fit or were injured or just didn't play. But most of the guys have come in and started day one. And maybe that's why that ESPN article is predicting Tyler Buckner to be the starter. And then he does have a relationship with Tommy Rees. I don't know if that necessarily gives him the inside track, maybe in terms of having a better relationship with Tommy because he's known Tommy longer than Ty and Jalen have. But then again, Ty and Jalen worked with Tommy during the springtime. So who knows? But I do think that Tyler is going to come in and certainly compete at a very high level. He does have a lot of attributes that I think a lot of people will really be excited about. And then when we look to your second point, talking about Jam Miller, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, this man runs angry. Watch it. Go back. You know what? You're going to see a lot of things stand out. If you go back and watch Alabama versus Kansas State, you're going to see better play from Jermaine Burton. I was like, okay, he's not too bad. Jam Miller has an incredible run. Deontay Lawson shows up on the defensive side. He looked great. So there was a lot of things that kind of jumped out to me during that last game for Alabama. But I think, like I said earlier, you can't go wrong with any of these running backs, and there's nothing wrong with having depth. I think Roydale Williams is going to be frustrating if he doesn't get fed inside goal line situations. But then again, Jam Miller, maybe he has a little bit more power than Roydale. I mean, look, Jam Miller is a big dude. I love that photo that Alabama had during the spring game where Justice Haynes and Jam Miller side by side. Right, you add Richard Young to that. That's the next wave of the Alabama running back. What else you got, David, regarding the Alabama offense?
Well, I would like as far as now not so much on actually on offense. I want to see these wide receivers catch the ball. I mean, I seen catch passes last season. These guys were wide open, nobody even around them, and they just dropped the ball. Maybe a defender might be 5 yards away from them and drop the ball. I watched another Bama podcast thing on YouTube from time to time, the Bama Standard, and they had some ex-wide receivers that played, for Alabama, and said that they're pissed off about it. They're mad. Why are you dropping these balls? There is no sense in dropping these balls whenever they hit you perfectly in the numbers and the hands and I mean, my God, I remember that catch from Devontae Smith in that stadium down south of me in Crappy Rouge over there. I can't stand. I'm stuck in Louisiana, but I hate any LSU fans. I'm not a big fan of them. where he dove, jumped, looked like 30 feet in the air, one-handed grab in the back corner of the end zone for a touchdown. One hand and covered. Yeah. And you got receivers, like Burton and some of these other guys that are just wide open and can't catch the ball. I mean, if we have that again this year, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, because we don't have a Bryce Young. And I'm not saying these other guys can't be as good as Bryce Young or on the same level as Bryce Young, these quarterbacks. If we can't get something going, we're going to be in for a long year, I'm hoping that they're saying what they're saying. They're coming out going to play murder ball on the defense, and the offense is going to step up. And, and I'm hoping that, Tommy Rees brings a different kind of scheme to the game and uses these tight ends a little bit more like he did with Notre Dame. It's something's got to give. But on the defensive side, I want to see what Caleb Downs can do. Yeah. I mean, they compare him to a Minka Fitzpatrick. They say he is the spitting image of the way he plays as a Minka Fitzpatrick. And I'm just hoping that Bama can go undefeated. I have a feeling we can if we get back in like we have the 2020 season and, seasons in the past where we were physical. Nobody wanted to line up against us. The ones who did line up against us, you could see it in their eyes that they were just fixing to get destroyed. I want to see it just like whenever Vanderbilt bumped their gums saying we're coming for you, and then they left defeated by 50-something points. I just hope we can get back to the old school Bama standards and start smash mouth football, but other than that, that's all I got to say. Like I said, I'm just telling everybody, don't sleep on Tyler Buckner. He just, there's things about him that are positive and there's things that he needs to work on. But I think with an offense, receivers and of this caliber that play for Bama that he didn't have at Notre Dame could help, as well as an offensive line that can block for him better, may help him. But whoever wins it, I just hope they can compete at the highest level that us as Alabama fans want to see our players play at. Other than that, brother, you have a good evening. God bless. God bless the United States of America, and have a good night.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. All right. That was our good buddy, David, calling in from Louisiana. I appreciate that. Yeah. Bless the United States of America. It's a great country. Special thanks, especially to, men and women overseas. If you're serving this great country, past or, present, we really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Remember, freedom isn't free. Call in line at the top of your screen, 205-850-1994 is the call in line number if you want to call in and talk about the Alabama offense going into the 2023 season. Last night, Jarek and Sean did a fantastic job talking about the Alabama defense. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We appreciate you guys more than you know. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Tomorrow on Wednesday, we'll get an opportunity to hear from Nick Saban after his Nick Kids Foundation. It'll be like a 3 to 4 minute video. And then on Thursday, you'll get Saban at the podium, and then you will have Alabama's first practice. We'll break it down, post the footage that they send from us or that they send to us from the University of Alabama, and then we will have a call-in show to talk about what we learned, what we saw from Alabama's first practice. And then on Sunday at 10 a.m., you're going to have Tommy Rees and you're going to have Kevin Still at the podium with Nick Saban. This only happens one time a year, or if Alabama gets to a bowl where we can talk to the assistant coaches. So it's a rarity because here at Alabama, you only get to talk to one person, and that's Coach Saban. Every other university, you get to talk to like the OC, the DC, the wide receivers coach. No. The only person giving statements after games is Coach Saban himself. So on Sunday, special opportunity to hear from first-year OC, Tommy Rees, who's, I think, 31 years old. And then you have Kevin Still, who's been here, I think, his third trip back to Tuscaloosa. I think he's like 67, right? He'll be talking on Sunday as well, along with Coach Saban, and that is during Media Day. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. You can call into the show. 205-850-1994 is the call line number. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I was curious about this. And, we're talking about the Alabama offense on this show, but I wanted to get your take, and we haven't really brought it up. And we'll get to the phone line in just a second. So 334, just hang tight. But listen up. Okay, so Auburn has made a run at they landed Riddick from Georgia. They flipped him, and they flipped Perry Thompson from Alabama, right? So Yellowwood, right, the billionaire in the state of Alabama, I was reading up on him and the deep pockets that he has, right? He's literally in Forbes. I think he's like the 2000th richest person in the country. And he's really invested into Auburn recruiting. And now when you have the NIL, you're starting to really see it being a bidding war with these athletes, right? Jimbo just went into Phoenix City and landed a wide receiver. And now you see Perry Thompson going to Auburn over Alabama and Riddick. So I think with Bolden, who was announcing on Saturday, hearing it could be Florida State, that would be like the biggest news for them ever, right? I have no idea where he's going to choose, right? That would put them like on the map for the first time since like the 90s. But regarding the NIL, like you hear Lane Kiffin saying about the competitive balance, you hear about Nick Saban talking about the competitive balance. I was thinking about this. If Alabama really, because they're trying to like build up their fan funding so you can get into the NIL game, deeper pockets, whatever, because you're never going to be able to compete with a billionaire like Yellowwood or guys like Texas or that Texas oil money. But Alabama does have something that a lot of other states don't have, right? The University of Alabama has how many guys in the NFL? How many times are they always talking about built by Bama? Literally, the NFL is filled with guys from the University of Alabama signing monster contracts. I'm curious if any of those guys, like Bryce and Will, if any of that money comes back to the University of Alabama that they can use in the NIL game, right? Because I think it's now about the amount of resources that you have. But Auburn certainly making noise, landing Perry Thompson and Riddick. And I don't know if they'll get the Bolden dude, but certainly Hugh Freeze. He's going after these high profile targets, and it'll be interesting to see how that does impact recruiting as we do go down the stretch. NIL is crazy, transfer portal crazy. And I wonder for Coach Saban specifically, how difficult it has made for him to control the roster management within his organization, right? Because this didn't exist. Like, think about how far that Alabama and the world of college football, like how things have changed post-COVID and post the transfer portal and NIL, right? We're in a new era of college football, and the competitive balance, it's all over the place. So we'll take our next caller right now. We're talking about the Alabama offense. Just had to slide that in real quick. And you're right, Mike, that was a great call from David from Louisiana. This is a 334. We'll take it right now. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hunter from Alabama.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Hunter, I appreciate you calling in, man. What's your take on this Alabama offense just days away before the first practice?
I'm still a believer in Milroe. I think he could win the job. I'm not going to be upset if he doesn't, because I know that Nick Saban knows what he's doing. I'm optimistic. I think the wide receiver position should be better this year than what it was last year. I know running back is going to be really good. Excited to see what Justin Haynes can do. As long as with all the other running backs, Jam Miller and McClellan. I think this will be a running back room by committee. I don't think it'll be just one or two guys. I think they'll kind of do this by committee.
I think that when you look to the running back room, when you have so many options, and it very well could be a running back by committee, there would be nothing wrong with it, because I think each of these running backs, there's not one guy that's extremely different than the next. Maybe Justice Haynes, just in terms of like that shiftiness and that side to side. But again, like, we haven't even seen him play one particular game, right? We've seen him in the spring game, and we've seen some footage of him, and everybody is, kind of enamored by what he could bring. But I mean, look, Jason Roydell are guys who have played an actual game experience. Those are going to be the guys that we see in the footage that are repping with the ones out the gates. Now, if Justice Haynes can get on the field, I'll be curious to see what he can do. And I think you're going to see, here's some rat poison for you, Coach Saban. The younger guys play against Middle Tennessee. Well, how the hell we know the younger guys are going to get to play, right? That's what coach is going to say. We don't. But I mean, but think about this, like, the reason we think that is because the standard of excellence is a national championship, and we don't even know how many games Middle Tennessee won last year. So that's why we think, Coach, that Alabama is going to blow Tennessee out the water, right? Like Middle Tennessee. That's why we think it. It's because of the standard that you have created. That's kind of it. So that's why we think like the second and third guys are going to get to play. That's kind of the mindset. Now, do we know that those guys are going to get to play? No, but we think that standard that has been created. That's why we think that these younger guys are going to get to play. What do you think about the wide receivers? I mean, how do you feel about Jermaine Burton? I've been asking people about Burton. I kind of, I watched that Sugar Bowl game. He looked pretty decent. I mean, he did catch a touchdown pass. What's your take on that room overall?
Jermaine Burton, I think he's a little inconsistent at times.
Yes,
I think he can be. I think he can produce big plays. I'm really, another guy, and it's partial because he's from my hometown, but Emmanuel Henderson is a guy that I'm looking forward to see if he gets some reps. So I mean, you got Malik Benson coming in.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jalen Hale coming in. Jalen Hale is a guy that was pretty highly recruited out of high school. So we'll see what he brings to the table. Maybe this year he might be redshirted just because there's so much in front of him. But you never count freshmen out. People say that freshmen don't play at Alabama, but I believe we won a national championship off of a freshman wide receiver a few years ago. So I'm optimistic. I think it'll be better. I'm really excited to see what Malik Benson brings to this offense. And I think the tight ends are going to be utilized a little bit more. So we'll see a guy like Amari Niblack and seeing him. And Danny Lewis, who, from what I hear, is the staff is really high on him, and he could be that guy that comes out of the backfield and runs kind of that wheel route, possibly. So we'll see. I'm optimistic though.
What about, I think you bring up some interesting points because you bring up our two interesting names. We haven't really talked about the Alabama tight end room. And you have Danny Lewis, who I think got the start during the spring game. And then you have Amari Niblack. It looks like he's been putting on a little bit more weight, which I think is a good thing. I've been waiting for him to kind of blossom and really get onto the field. And then you have CJ Dupree, who gets, who transferred from Maryland. I mean, be honest with me, man. This tight end room, and I get it. Camlett, who got drafted to my Niners, finally Alabama, has a guy on the Niners roster. Cause like every year, cause I follow the Niners, I'm like, when are they going to get somebody from Alabama? So they got Camlett too. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about the tight ends over the last couple of years? I mean, ever since Irv Smith, like I feel like that tight end position has just been average.
Yeah, I can see why you think that, where you're coming from. I think that we hadn't had a guy like OJ or Irv Smith or somebody like that in a few years. But I think Amari Niblack can be that guy. I think he just, he showed some flashes last year. I know this is not going to be here until 2024, but the kid that Alabama just had committed, Odom, coming up next year, I think he could be a starter at his freshman year. But as far as this team, I really like Niblack. I think he's got. I mean, Ty Lockwood is another kid, the freshman. He might get some reps just to get in that rotation, just to see what he brings, see what he can do. It depends on what Tommy Rees wants to do. If he wants to use him as a passer, then we'll use him as a blocker. If you use him as a blocker, you put Kilselman out there, and he's a good blocker. So
and you got Robbie Oots too, right?
Yeah, Robbie Oots. You got those guys. So it depends on what he wants to do with those, and that's what I'm interested to see from Tommy Rees is to see how he wants to utilize these tight ends.
Because he did do a good job with the Notre Dame tight ends. Like it was, I watched Notre Dame a couple times last season because I would always draft. I played DraftKings, and I would always get their tight end because he was pretty high production. In fact, because I'd watch Notre Dame, no particular reason why. Like I just like the fact that all of their skill position players seem to get fed, and that's what I hope that Tommy's able to bring to Alabama is he's able to spread the field in terms of the distribution of, who gets the ball, because there was a lot of guys that seemed to get fed on that team. And maybe he could bring that. I just really haven't been impressed with the tight end play over the last couple seasons. I mean, you had Miller Forrestall and then Cam Latu. I mean, to be honest, like those guys are average. They are. I mean, they're, and I'm not talking about their character or whatever, but like they're average. And if you think those guys are like elite tight ends, you're wrong, because they're not. This offensive line, Hunter, like what do you think about this O line anchored by J.C. Latham?
I think this could be an amazing year for offensive line. I'm really excited. Caden Proctor, I mean, we'll see where he fits in this rotation. From what I hear, he can play any position on the offensive line.
Yeah.
So I think this could be a really good, we still got Seth McLaughlin, who showed at the end of the year last year that, he can be a force to reckon with and so still got Darian Dalcourt coming back with some experience. So this will be an experienced offensive line. This is as excited as I've been in the last few years about our offensive line. I think this could be a really, really good offensive line.
Yeah, I think, remember when Evan Neal came in and he started at guard before sliding out to tackle? Like that's just how versatile he was at 6'7". What was he, like 350 or something like that? He was unbelievable. And then when you bring up some good points, like Seth McLaughlin is wearing the hat that just says "Run the damn ball." The first time he played against Georgia, he did it phenomenal. We didn't even really know how he would do. I think the second time around he struggled a little bit. How do you guys feel about Darian Dalcourt? Seems like he's been here for a long time. He's not longer than Kendall Randolph. Remember how long Kendall Randolph was here? Seemed like he was here forever. But Darian Dalcourt now is that guy. J.C. Latham, I think, is going to be, certainly a first-round NFL draft pick. And you have a lot of these guys who Eric Wolford drafted, or rather, recruited, that are monsters, like guys who are like 6'7" and above. So it's a huge offensive line that is coming in. I think you're right. I think the offensive line, I don't know about Dalcourt. I don't know how, I think Michael's saying inside that he's going to be at left guard. So I'm curious to see what you guys think about Dalcourt coming in. Anything else on the offense before I move to our next caller?
No, I mean, I just want to comment a little bit on what you said about Dalcourt. Dalcourt's been here for a while, like you said.
Yeah.
He was one of those developmental guys. And I'm sure there'll be a role for him on this offensive line. I don't know exactly where that might be this year. But, I mean, I think this offensive line could be an area of strength. I think, and also I think that watch out for Emmanuel Henderson as our punt returner. I think he'll be our kickoff and punt returner. Let me tell you something. I've watched a lot of high school football, and this is one of the kids. When I tell you he is fast, this kid is really fast. And Nick Saban has been commenting on him developing as a wide receiver. Just about every press conference he's had, he's been asked about Emmanuel. They've said he said that he's coming on very well. So, look out for him this season. He might not come into a starting role until maybe next year. But he definitely, I think he's definitely get some more reps this year. I mean, we've seen him catch a touchdown pass in the spring game. So, I think he can be a guy that can contribute. So, I'm just really looking forward to see how that all shakes out.
All right, man. Well, thanks for calling in, and we'll catch up next time, man. Good stuff as always.
All right, man. Bye.
All right. Hunter calling in. I appreciate it. Long time caller. We got another caller. Hang tight. It's 256. The only thing that I disagree about what Hunter said was the fact that Kool-Aid is going to be your punt returner, right? I mean, I think he's probably going to be one of the best. How many punts? I mean, if they kick the ball to him, I would say Kool-Aid probably has 3 punt returns for a touchdown this year. I honestly think he's probably one of the best special teams players in all of college football, along with being one of the best corners in college football. We'll take our next caller, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, 205-850-1994. We're talking about the Alabama offense, just days away from Alabama's first practice, which will be on Thursday. Call online at the top of your screen, 205-850-1994. And Michael, you're right. Yeah, Emmanuel was at running back and then transferred over to wide receiver. And then you're right again. Latu, when he first got here, he was an outside linebacker before switching over to tight end. So Coach Saban making those adjustments. Same with Trayvon Diggs, right? Diggs came here as a wide receiver, and Coach Saban was like, look, you got a multi-million-dollar future being on the other side of the ball, and look at the deal that he just signed, right? Built by Bama. What's up, Gelato? I see you inside the comment box, and we'll take our 256 starting right now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Hey. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, what's up, Kyle? This is Willie from Anniston, Alabama.
I'm sorry, what did you say your name was?
Willie.
All right, what's up, Willie? I appreciate you. And you're calling in from Anniston?
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. Go ahead. You're on the show. Hey, shoot.
Hey, I have a take on this quarterback situation, right?
Yep.
Excuse me if it's loud. I drive trucks, but
you're good.
I think Coach Saban knows who our next quarterback will be. I think he's not showing his hand, but I think he knows.
What makes you say that?
And I think it'll be Todd Simpson.
Well, what makes you say that?
Because for one, Saban never shows his hand. He never shows his hand.
Yeah.
He will not tell us who it is. Also, we're going to need a quarterback who can get the ball to the receivers when we do pass the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do believe our offense will be run heavy, but I do believe we'll pass the ball a little bit more than what people think. And when we do pass the ball, we would need a consistent quarterback. You know, I think Todd, you know, he needs to work on his reads a little better or a little more, but he's definitely accurate.
How did you feel? How did you feel? How did you feel last year when Jalen Milroe was running the show against A&M in Arkansas?
I believe he was nervous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to hold that against him as much.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw some of those same inconsistencies in the A game.
Yeah.
Right. And Tyler Buckner has a history of turning the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
And you go back to Jalen Hurts, I believe it was 2017,
mm-hmm.
when he kept overthrowing Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to throw an interception.
Yeah.
We'll need a quarterback who can make those long passes when they're available. I mean, the short passes are good, but we have Isaiah Bonds, Malik Benson, who could take the top off of defense.
Yeah.
I think it's important we have a quarterback able to hit them when they're open downfield. I think, hey, Todd's the man.
Why do you think that Alabama went and brought in Tyler Buckner?
For exactly what Coach Saban said, competition.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't believe he wanted. I mean, they were 1-2. They knew they would be 1-2, regardless who started.
Mm-hmm.
The other person would still have a chance. I think he wanted to level up the competition. I think that was his way of saying, look, this position isn't guaranteed to either one of you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to compete. You have to come with it. Don't think you already have it. You have to earn it.
Do you feel that?
And I believe it was a lot of time also.
Do you feel that Alabama's laying in the weeds for the first time in quite some time?
That laying in the weeds?
Yeah.
You mean, what do you mean by that?
I mean, like people like not really talking, like taking Alabama that serious for the first time. I mean, everybody's always going to take Nick Saban, you know, serious because of everything that he's done. But I think for the first time, I think people see Alabama as vulnerable.
And I think Coach Saban loves it.
Yeah, me too.
I think he wants it. And I think that's part of the reason why he's letting this thing drag out, the quarterback situation. Because if you remember last year, it was kind of expected we would win a championship.
Yeah.
Because everyone saw what happened the year before. Jameson Williams, John Mechie went down. But we went a lead fourth quarter. So coming back last year, it was kind of expected Alabama would be back.
Yeah.
And didn't live up to expectations. So I think this is the rat poison he wants, you know. He wants people to doubt Alabama.
Do you
and
think
I think he's doing a little bit to make people doubt Alabama.
Do you think that you have confidence in the new OC? I mean, does it matter? I mean, people didn't like Bill O'Brien as soon as he got here. Do you think Tommy Rees makes maybe not a dramatic change, but do you think he's more sufficient at running, the offense that Alabama is accustomed to?
Oh yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, he's a former quarterback,
mm-hmm.
you know, and I believe he'll be able to carve up some plays that'll really put our tight ends in much better positions, like y'all mentioned earlier with Amari Knoblack and C.J. Dupree.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to feed them the ball. And we're going to run the ball a lot more. I believe he knows how to do that. I believe he fits Alabama's system, or the system we're trying to get back to.
If there's one
much better. I mean, Bill O'Brien was okay, but I mean, he relied on Bryce too much. Plays broke down.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was just, I think everybody relied on Bryce too much. It's just like, let him do his thing. If there's one player on offense that we're sleeping on, who is that and why?
Isaiah Bonds. Isaiah Bonds. I do believe we're sleeping on Isaiah Bonds. There were a lot of plays I saw him open last year. He just didn't get the look. That dude
has speed.
Right. I believe we have a stable of quarterbacks that could be equivalent to when we had Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and Devontae Smith. I believe these receivers can get back there. Jermaine Burton, I'm not high on Jermaine Burton at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one more drop, man. Come on. And I'm high on Ja'Cory Brooks, but I've seen him drop a little more. So I'm ready to see these young receivers really come out and show out.
Anything else you got regarding the Alabama offense while we got you on the line?
I do believe this offensive line will be nasty. I do believe they will be nasty. They ain't heard the talk. And I believe they're ready to show what they can do. And that's all.
Well, I appreciate you calling in. Be safe on the road. Call again next time. Anytime you get a notification, that's why it's important that you guys subscribe. We'll do our shows in the evening times. Anytime you want to call in, man, you got a seat at the table, Willie. I appreciate it, man, and be safe on the road.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, Willie calling in from the road. Appreciate it. You guys be safe that you guys are on the road. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube, 205-850-1994. Hey, David, man. No, man. Like, look, we've been doing this a long time. There's a lot of people out there that are, pushing the content and doing a great job. It's all good, man. I mean, but to be honest, there's only one Kyle Henderson. So you guys know where to find me right here on the YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys sticking with me, hitting the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We got a long college football season. Blessed to be here. Really excited about it. Feel hungry. Feel really good. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Last year was a really difficult year for me mentally. I think as we advance in our life, there's going to be difficult years. Last year was a year that, there was a lot of growing. And, I'm really kind of thankful for that time, because I think the silver lining is I'm a better man going into this year than I was last year, just overall. It's just, part of growing up. So really excited that you guys are here with me right now. I run the YouTube channel by myself. I'm independent. I'm not affiliated with Rivals or On3. Those are both great companies. Honestly, what Shannon is doing with On3, I think is really special. I mean, those guys certainly hitting the ground running, and it's great to be at this point of the college football season. Was up in Nashville recently, just checking everybody out, and there's so many great content creators and writers and all those guys. So, I got respect for all those guys that are putting in work because they really do work behind the scenes, and I really appreciate it. So thanks for sticking here on the YouTube channel. Thumbs up. And you guys subscribe, goes a long way. Really appreciate you guys. We're going to take a 256 and we'll start right now. Hey, what's up? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Adam from Talladega.
Hey, what's up, Adam? I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in. How's
Hey,
your
man,
evening, man? What was for dinner, man?
Actually, brats, Johnsonville brats.
Oh man, that sounds. You need to. Hey, Talladega is not too far, man. I could go have the show at your spot, and we do brats from the spot. You know what I was thinking about? Everybody, listen up. I was thinking about if we did like a tailgate, right? Like, so imagine like before the game, like at a home game, and I could like set up like a booth area, have all my stuff, and then you guys could come and we could have like a seat, and like if you're a caller, you guys could come and we could just wrap like pregame before and do like a pregame show with like the callers. I think it would go over really well. And Adam, you could bring the brats, and I'm sure, we could get Sean to bring some food as well. And, so maybe we'll put that on the back burner. But Adam, when we look to this offense in 2023, a couple days away, what are your question marks going into the season?
Well, my question mark is, will we be able to get Emmanuel Henderson the ball? He made a play in particular on the touchdown play. When he was going on the route, he burned the safeties so bad in the corner. It was embarrassing almost. And he was looking back and pulled away from them while they were looking at his back numbers so he could adjust for the ball. And I want you to look at that play, man. It's unbelievable. He's got the speed.
Yeah.
And when I look at all the components that we have, it's kind of similar to the when we had, Mark Ingram in the backfield, along with I can't remember who all it was, but the 2015 and 16 season, it looks really familiar to that. And I'm thinking that Jalen is. I think we've got Tyler Buckner is 2.0. I mean, he may take a little time to develop, but I'm thinking the way I looked at the footage, I looked at both highlight tapes, and I'm looking at the same dude. When I look at the plays that he actually made, I'm not looking at the bad plays because coach will coach him up and chew him out if he makes some mistakes, and he won't be able to be on the field unless he's trusted to get out there first. But I'm looking at all the receivers. We've got the talent, and I'm really thinking we could go all the way this year. But I'm telling you this, Saban is not going to retire this year because he's got to see what Julian Sayin is going to do. I'm telling you, once he gets on the campus, we're not losing the game for 3 years. It's going to be three straight national championships.
Wow.
He is awesome. He is touchdown Jesus. He come in and shook Dylan Raiola so bad that he couldn't even perform his duties and compete without looking at the paper. I've heard the reports. He couldn't even hardly look and do his job because he was too busy worried about what Julian Sayin was doing. And Julian Sayin did his thing. And now all the recruits that went to Georgia, they feel dumb. They're going to go play for number 2. His mechanics, he's the real deal. I mean, we got scouts talking about he's going to go number 1 in the draft. He ain't even played a down in college. They're talking about he's going to go high in the draft. They say the same thing about Keon Keeley. So I'm expecting big things. Offensive line, you can't just say, oh, we're going to put Caden Proctor in, just because he's big. Well, watch what Saban said about having big guys. He had to change, remember? When after 2009 rolled around, the running game, people started, the West Coast offense come out. Everybody started doing it. He had to change up. The big guys, the defenses got used to the big guys, and, they got linebackers that can run around you, and you just look dumb out there. So it takes you got to be a really special guy. You got to big. You got to be able to move. I think we need one of every kind, because if he gets beat or somebody else that's big gets beat, we got to put a smaller guy in him just to be able to chip this elite player that's getting around us every time, like a equivalent to Will Anderson on the other side. You know, you can't put Will Anderson up against, you know, Caden Proctor. Just go for it. Who's going to win that battle?
Yeah.
You think Will Anderson's going to win that battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is going to win that battle?
Yeah, Anderson every single time.
Well, that's my point exactly. You know, I see Georgia getting all these big recruits. I mean, that works on paper. It looks good, and it's something to be worried about. But you have to develop these guys first. Size is just one attribute to being a great player. You know, I'm really looking forward to Miles McVay. I think he's. Oh my God! I think he's a freak. If he ever gets going, man, he's going to be the Jaheim Otis, but on the offensive side, man.
It's amazing. I was talking about that earlier. Like the guys that Eric Wolford brought in are monsters, right? I mean, even the kid like here out of Tuscaloosa, Wilcom Formby, right? The McVay kid. I mean, Caden Proctor. All these guys, what are they? They're like above 6'7". It's like a bunch of Evan Neals that
I'm talking about in a room on the field. If you're in the midst of all the things going on, the guys that could scare you, who you got to know where he's at, Miles McVay is going to be the dude. He'll hurt you, man, just by stepping on the back of your leg when you ain't looking. He's going to break something, dog. He's going to hurt you. If he's coming to get you and you see him, you scared. You know you're scared. He knows you're scared. Everybody knows you're scared.
He's from East St. Louis too. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, you know that dude's coming.
He can't even. He could never speak in the high voice like I'm speaking now, even if he was scared, screaming for his life.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've never heard him talk, but he's probably like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go out there and do the play." You know, I mean, these dudes, man, they ate a whole bucket of chicken and a pizza.
Yeah,
for lunch, probably, man.
I know, it's amazing.
Grabbing this dude's hands like grabbing a bunch of bananas. He's scary, man.
I think I saw.
I seen him jumping up on them cubes.
No, I think I saw. I don't know where I saw it. It was on one of because Alabama was showing their cafeteria, or not even their cafeteria, like the place where they all eat. Cafeteria seems outdated. It's like their diet and nutrition center, whatever it is. And like the amount of wings that they go through a week, like in pounds, it was like something ridiculous. You imagine Miles McVay sits down. He's not ordering like a 12-piece. No, he's having 50 wings.
You know, that list they give them to eat, there's not a limit. You can eat that plus more. You know, they're covering that, dog. And I don't believe there's nobody like, no, don't eat that. You know, them boys is eating. I seen them eat. Yeah. They eating. And, man, I'm telling you, have you seen the video of him jumping up and down on those cubes?
I don't think I've seen that
Jumping up and down on those blocks. Oh, my gosh. He can jump like 3 or 4 feet high.
Was it kind of similar to what Evan Neal was doing? Remember when he was basically
it's not Evan Neal. He's not jumping up and doing the splits and landing on them. He's jumping up onto the blocks. But just to see a big man that can do that is kind of makes you nervous, man. You know, you don't see people like that. Man, I'll tell you what, it was late in the year that Quinn Williams started coming out, and I was watching practice one day on the YouTube, and I said, oh, my God, is this for real? But I was like, man, I'd never seen him play. I never heard his name before, and I swear to God, Kyle, I watched the footage of the practice, and I was like, man, this dude... This is the one right here. If we had just 2 of these right here, it's over for everybody.
Yeah.
So we got Jaheim Otis. If we get one more, we need 2 dudes like that. Really, one dude is good, but to be superior, you really need 2.
Give me your final thought give me your final thought on the quarterback situation.
Well, the final thought on the quarterback situation is, these guys have been through training. Everybody's been through training except for Tyler. All the external training. outside facilities. I'm thinking, think like that, on working on timing and tendencies of your receivers and work, just chemistry with the receivers during the off season could be bigger than anyone ever imagined.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking all three of these guys have increased their productivity by 50% with the external training, just based on the chemistry and what you can learn from outside help.
Well, Adam, I appreciate the call from Talladega, man. Call in anytime. You got the calling number. Save it, 205-850-1994. Get to my next caller, man. But I appreciate you calling in on this beautiful Tuesday evening. Hope those brats were delicious. And next time you want to call in, man, we got a seat at the table for you, okay?
Thanks, man. I'm Adam East. I'm the tire man in Talladega. You know, I buy and sell tires, and I'm on Facebook Marketplace. Thank you.
I might get some tires from you, man. So save my number.
I sell wheels and tires too, man. I've got a big selection.
Yeah, because you
guys can check me out, man.
Yeah, I got a Tundra, and I want to put a little bit more bite on my tires, man. So maybe we could wrap and talk about some options. So we'll do that on the next show.
What kind of vehicle did you say?
It's a Tundra.
Oh yeah, I love those.
No, yeah, so do I.
I've got just what you want for it, man.
Okay, let's do it. All right, Adam.
We'll talk about it.
I got your number, man. Okay, thanks, Adam. See you, buddy.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, that's Adam from Talladega doing a little bit of wheeling and dealing here, right here on the YouTube show, right? 205-850-1994. What's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. August 1st. So let me tell you something before I break out, okay? So I joined this group. It's called F3. And it's these guys who are complete monsters. We wake up at like 4:40 in the morning, and we go work out in different areas. And after our workout, it's like high intensity for 45 minutes. We carry around an American flag. It's great. It's like the Navy SEALs. There's always a message, right? And today the message was about don't let kind of consistency stop you from being impactful. And, you know, it's like a great message that we talk about as guys. And I think as a new school year starts and we start to get into the football season, like, don't want to be consistent or complacent. And I think this is a great opportunity this year to really take the YouTube channel to where it needs to go, right? A couple years ago, when the YouTube channel was at its peak, I mean, we had some opportunities to do some really amazing things. And now that I'm doing the YouTube channel completely independent, I think we're going to get there. It's going to take work on my end, on your guys' end. So I appreciate you guys hitting the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. There's plenty of options out there to check out different type of Alabama coverage. But, you know, we started this year. You guys have seen it grow. We're close to 100,000 subscribers. Really great that you guys, you know, are here on the show, and I really appreciate you guys watching. I can't say that enough. And this is how I pay my bills. So I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching the show tonight. Tomorrow, remember, we got Saban at 11. It's going to be like a 3-minute video from his Knicks Kids Foundation talking about, you know, the impact that he's had for Knicks kids. And then on Thursday will be their first practice. That'll be when Saban is behind the podium. You'll also get some B-roll footage. What you're watching right now is considered B-roll. We'll have a call-in show to talk about what Saban said, along with what we saw from the B-roll. And then on Sunday, there's not going to be a practice on Sunday, but it's media day. So you'll hear from Coach Saban, Tommy Rees, and Kevin Still. Again, that'll be the only time this season that you're able to hear from Still and Rees, because you can only talk to those guys just once a season, and that'll happen on Sunday. We'll have all that coverage right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. I appreciate you guys being here more than you know. Special thanks to the men and women who are serving this great country. We appreciate it. And remember, freedom is not free. Be good people, and I will catch up with you next show right here on Bama Football on YouTube.